the channel if you're a subscriber, and thank you. If you don't subscribe already, consider hitting that button before you leave today. That way you can follow along with the Lowrider S build, parts, miscellaneous reviews for accessories, tools, and other items that I've bought along the way. Today's video is going to be focused on the jack. I've watched plenty of videos on YouTube. You probably have as well, on people who have motorcycles that are up on a jack, and I'm always very interested in how it works. Is it stable? Is it something I need? I've never had one before with any of my bikes. I've had front and rear wheel stands, but never a center stand for something like this. So bought this jack, bought it off Amazon. It was $79, which is pretty inexpensive. I was actually more concerned than anything that it was so cheap, thinking it was going to be junk. It had really good reviews. It's Dynatech. I'll post a link to it in the description, so if you want to check out the same one, you can. There were 4 or 5 that were about the same, that were a little bit cheaper or slightly more expensive, so do what you will, or pick up the same one. It came quickly. It's black, no issue. With the jack itself, rubber coating, rubber layer on the top where the frame sits. The bike's been sitting on the jack for 3 days. It's really crappy weather, and I haven't been able to ride anyway, so I figured it was a really great opportunity just to let it sit. How it's sitting right now, it's just barely up off the ground, so I can just barely spin the wheel, but not really rock the bike back and forward. It's solid. I mean, it doesn't make me nervous. I obviously care about the motorcycle, so I wouldn't want it to fall over, and I'm comfortable with leaving it sit on the jack. My plan is to use the jack for maintenance, oil changes, fluid changes, and cleaning. That way I can get the wheels a little bit easier without folding my arm up inside the rear fender. And then when actual winter comes and I'm done riding completely, I'm going to put the bike in the back of the garage. I'm going to put it up on the jack. That way it's just barely off of the ground. Plug the battery tender in and then cover the bike up. That way it's totally out of the way. In the wintertime, if you're anything like I am, when it's really bad weather, snow, and it's nasty, we'll use the garage door more than the front door. That way you come in, knock boots off, snow, wetness in the corner, kids drop sleds and things and go inside. I didn't want them slamming into the bike with that stuff, so I figured it was the best option. Enough about that. We'll talk back to the jack. So operation for it is very simple. When it's fully stored in storage mode, it's about 4.5 inches tall. It's really thin. It actually fits in the drawer of my Snap-on tool chest. Super easy operation as well for opening it up. So if the bike is down on the kickstand, put the jack underneath the bike, jack it up. It did come with a tool. I've actually just been using a socket and socket wrench to raise it up. Socket and socket wrench, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, just like any other jack. You bring it up. I'd bring it up just so the kickstand was off the ground, come to the other side, check, make sure it wasn't pinching clutch cable or wire or something like that, even on the frame. Come back over and lift it up the rest of the way. That is it. It is super simple and easy. I am very happy with the purchase, and I really think that I'll end up getting a lot of use out of it. I've bought plenty of tools and miscellaneous items and junk that's spread all through the garage that I thought was a really good idea, and I never really ended up using. I don't think that's going to be the case with this, but maybe down the road I'll do another video and I'll talk about it again. So at this point, I'll bring the camera around, show you where it's sitting, show you how it's sitting, and then again show you the operation, as well as come to the other side. That way you can get kind of a general idea of how straight up and down it is and what it looks like, and that's pretty much it. So let's go. All right, so here's the bike up on the jack, like I said. You can see it's sitting straight up and down. As far as how high it's off the ground, the front wheel is barely touching. If I roll it, you can hear it, but literally just barely up off the ground. I didn't want to raise it too high. I wasn't sure how that'd be, like raising it up super high in the air. Was it going to be less stable? Was it going to shift left? Was it going to shift right, fall over? Same thing in the back. It is just barely up off the ground enough to be able to roll it back and forth. But if I grab the bike and I kind of shift it back and forth, it hardly moves. And then from side to side, I don't know if you can tell from the video or not, but there's really no movement at all. How it works, it's just this scissoring motion, just like a scissor jack. The front portion slides backwards as the jack goes up, and then it's got this platform that's up underneath the frame. I think I have, I'd say about 3 inches on this side of the frame on the Lowrider S, and then on the other side, if the lighting is good enough and you can tell, there's probably about 3 inches or so on this side too. So moving it up or moving it down, it did come with a tool. I found it's a little bit easier just to use a ratchet. Ratchet goes on just like so. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Go up, go down. That's really it. What I found is, or what's worked for me is leaving the kickstand down, jiffy stand down just like this. That way when you bring the jack all the way to the ground, I'll put my left hand on the handlebar, using my right hand in the ratcheting motion. That way when I bring it all the way down, I can pull the bike towards me, set it on the jiffy stand, and then pull the jack out from underneath the bike. But that's really about it. It is very simple. Like I said, it was about $79, I think, dollars. It is working just fine. There's the brand, if you can see it, hopefully you can. I'll post a description either way. There's the bike one more time, all the way up in the air. So that's it, but I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you have any questions, just stick in the comments. Hopefully I can answer for you, as well as any suggestions. Like I said, I keep trying to post more and more videos to kind of figure out what I'm doing, how I'm doing things with the bike. So if you have suggestions, leave them in there. We'll go from there. If not, if you still have enough season, ride safe, and I'll see you around.